Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to talk to you today about why we shouldn't innovate, why we don't innovate, and why we should specialize instead. The quick answer, you can take a picture of this slide, send it back to the office, and get back to your emails. That is that we don't innovate because it's really hard, it's risky, it's also super expensive, and we're not stupid, right? And where does that leave us? Well, that leaves us actually somewhere good. It leaves us right where we want to be, because it leaves us as the irreplaceable specialists doing very high value work, okay? When I talk about innovation, I'm not talking about the small incremental improvements that we make day to day and that we do over coffee and that we make the small adjustments. I'm talking about the big stuff, all right? If you want to be Steve Jobs, go to university for 1 semester, study calligraphy, and you're good. That's not the path you chose. So it's probably not the thing you should do. So, why am I up here talking about this? Well, it turns out I started out as a Army Special Operations officer. So I am very familiar with the 70-hour work week. And we spent an absurd amount of time practicing for what we had to do, over and over and over and over and over again. And the thing that we spent most of our time talking about when we got together were the mistakes, the things that did not go as we expected them to go. Because we saw mistakes as gifts, slightly different from the legal industry. But we saw mistakes as gifts. And we studied them because what we were working with were situations of great uncertainty, high risk, systems. We love studying systems, especially systems under pressure, which led me to my later work in innovation. I've worked with Sony, with Nokia, with lots of companies, let's see, especially their mobile phone divisions. Been a while since you've had one of those in your pocket. Like studying systems under stress. And the legal system is definitely a system under stress. This industry is going through huge change. When I started looking at it more specifically 2.5 years ago, I couldn't find anybody that could tell me what was going on. Oh yeah, there's lots of startups and there's lots of, well, yeah, what's happening? Nobody had the answer, so we came up with the answer. Right? This is a map. This is a map of legal tech providers in the Nordics. 5 Nordic countries, that includes Iceland, which is a rather small but very attractive country, and then the 3 Baltic republics. These 8 countries have put up these companies here. Now, these are companies that are building products in Scandinavia. So this doesn't count Thomson Reuters and all the endless other Luminance and all the other people. This is just the Nordics, right? Getting close to 200 companies. Now, when we talk about change, we tend to overestimate its impact in the short term. Anyone here want to hear another talk about how AI is going to replace lawyers? Robots. No, nobody wants to hear about it. But, because it's not going to happen, because we've worked with Luminance, we see that it doesn't do what we want it to do. However, what we tend to do is underestimate its significance in the long term, is they are going to keep throwing money at Luminance until it does actually do something, right? And when it does, the impact is going to be big. But the thing is that it takes a huge amount of work, and work means money. All right. Now, tomorrow won't look exactly like today. So here's a quick run-through of what, and this is the 5 factors. The 5 factors I want to look at is today. If we look at what you do, you make a product. Your product, highly customized. Each customer gets a product specific for them. The business model, hours, or fixed fee. The people doing it are all lawyers that went to university for a very long time, got very good grades, and have worked very, very hard doing one thing ever since. It's delivered direct to the customer by the law firm or by the general counsel doing the work inside the firm. And the method is manual. All right. Remember when I said innovation was really, really difficult? Whoops. These guys. This is a Tesla. I am not the only person in this room that's wondered why the car industry can't just make an electric car. Everybody seems to want them. It turns out it's a little more difficult. I've also had the pleasure of working with people like BMW, Mercedes, Bosch, that makes a lot of the stuff that goes in cars. So here's those quick 5 points. Turns out that normal car has 4 times as many parts as there is in an electric car. Try taking 3/4 of those parts out. The business model, turns out that where the car companies make their money is on the spare parts. After you've bought the car, they make their money helping you repair it, right? That the people, these companies just don't have the electrical engineers and the software engineers that Tesla does. Delivery, they sell their cars through a distribution network. Tesla sells it direct. The method, it's an enormous integrated chain of suppliers that build modern cars. Tesla makes a lot of it themselves. So it is not just a matter of putting an electric engine into a normal car, right? Yes, it may have 4 doors and 4 wheels and a radio and a steering wheel, but it's a very, very different thing. And the same is true for the companies that were on my slide before, compared with law firms and general counsels. This is not just a matter of hiring a couple of developers to sit in a cool offsite with a foosball table and some beanbag chairs. The key is the people, all right? Lawyers are risk-averse knowledge workers, experts at leveraging experience. You are fabulously good at having the right answer, at doing what it takes to get the right answer, to figuring it out the first time. Entrepreneurs don't care how long it takes them to get to the right answer, as long as they've still got the money. That Tesla took an absurd amount of dollars to create. Billions and billions and billions. Hands up if you've got billions and billions of dollars to create legal tech products at your law firm. All right, I didn't think so. All right, they're also very different people. These hipsters, hustlers, and hackers, it's a very different team. The hipsters, they understand the customer exactly. The hackers know how to build what it is the hipsters telling them to build. The hustlers are really good at getting all that money that it takes to build it and then finding someone to sell it to. So what should you do instead? All right, this is where you want to start taking notes. All right, this is focus on your strengths. All right, if I got one thing is focus on your strengths, let go of what you're not good at, right, and trust yourself, right? So scale customization. You make custom products? Good, do more of that, right? Find out what it takes to do it more efficiently, but keep making those custom products, yeah? Don't try to sell big market stuff online. Somebody that understands the internet is going to be better at that than you are. Focus on your customization. Look at your business model. You can tweak your business model a bit. It doesn't have to be hourly, charging by the hour, or a fixed rate. There are some interesting variations in there. For example, subscription. People. All right. We may want to tweak the mix of people we've got doing law, and then also encourage some things that they're already good at. Be the advisor. We all know that our clients don't really like being given 5 options to choose from. What they want to know is yes or no. Am I going to jail or not? Is this legal or not? Okay? Step into that, embrace it. Delivery, integrate closer with your customers. If you look at your accountants, other professionals do something rather similar to what you do, right? They're plugged into their clients. They know day to day, they can see live the money coming in and out of their clients. It gives them an incredible insight. Plug in. And that's obviously for a law firm. If you're a general counsel, get out from behind your desk, get out of your office, get out into the teams that you're working with. Go spend a couple of days with sales, especially those crazy internet salespeople, okay? Find out what they're doing and find out how you can better support them. And the method, collaboration. All right, there's been a lot of talk of, let's say, alternative legal service providers. First of all, let's get rid of the word alternative. If they're providing a legal service, then they're a legal service provider. All right, and if they're good at that mass market scale, cool, let them be good at it. All right, think a little bit like the dear old Godfather. You keep your friends close and you keep your enemies closer. If they are really good at providing services online, and that's not your strength, draw them in. Work together with them. Because they will never be as good as you are at the expertise. Why? because it's not what they spend their time doing. Some specifics on what to do. All right. I am not one of these people trying to find a silver lining into the corona. But if there's one thing that corona has finally done for us, it's liberated us, whether you're a boss or an employee, from the, if you're not present and I can't see you, then you're probably playing PlayStation. All right? We've learned to trust that people can do work when we can't see them. All right? So everybody's working from home. Super. When working from home, when the coronavirus eventually goes away, you know what? You don't have to bring those people back to the office. You can move them out to the client. Now, I know some of you say, well, we already do that. We already put people out at the client, with the client for short-term stuff. Super. That's great. That means you already know how to do this. And what I'd like you to do is do more of it, okay? You say, well, yeah, but we only do about 1 day's work a week for this particular client. Fine. Take 2 more days a week where they're just sitting out there at the client, if you get along well with the client, and have them do work for other people. Because what you're making a couple of things happen. You're building a closer relationship with that client just by being around them, eating lunch, coffee, etc. And what you're also making possible is the things that happen, all right? Lucy, do you have a minute? I got this email. Boom. Next thing you know, you've got more business, more hours, a closer relationship. Number 2, digitize your experience. All right, we think we're good at capturing knowledge, but it turns out, lo and behold, there are people who do this for a living, okay? Knowledge management. Make the implicit knowledge in the heads of your staff explicit knowledge that you've written down. Because once you write it down, then you can analyze processes, you can improve processes, you can share them, you can scale them, all right? Knowledge management has been talked about a lot, but it turns out there are not very many firms that have them, okay? Great woman I work with up in Stockholm was talking about legal ops, and she was giving advice, and I said, we were on a panel together, and I said, cool. I said, well, how should people start with legal ops? And she said, well, have your general counsel put all of their expenses into a spreadsheet. I looked out at the audience, and the audience was all looking like this because it was a fintech conference, and so they live in spreadsheets. And I said, is it that simple? Yes, it's that simple. What do you mean? They're not, right? That we claim we're good at capturing knowledge, but no. She said, put it in a spreadsheet and then start comparing like expenses with like expenses. There's a lot of this that we need to start doing in an organized manner. And there are knowledge management professionals that can help you with this. The last one is be the advisor. Have I mentioned this? Okay, people aren't looking for options, they are looking for an answer. All right? Now, I understand the reluctance in this industry to give the answer, but the people you're talking to are human beings, so they're used to judging this, all right? Out here, parents, all right? When you ask your child a question, they say, yes. Okay, then you're pretty sure. When they say yes, you can hear the difference, all right? So when you give a yes or no answer, you can modify it. Yes, I'm absolutely sure. Boss, if you do that, you'll go to jail. Or, yes, we can do that, but we need to do this and this. But go into that advisor role. Don't stick just to the law, as in I'm absolutely sure. People are looking for advice. Here's what not to do. There is an awful lot of time being spent in this industry on rearguard actions, defending the fence against the internet people. All right? Let it go. All right? The internet's here to stay. It does a lot of things better than we do. All right? That, only about 30% of the market for legal services is covered by law firms. And the 70% people are covering by themselves, doing their best. Let somebody help them, all right? Instead of defending the gates, look at what the core pieces that need to be defended, focus on them. Just pass on this gatekeeper task. The other thing I'd like you to let go of is the fear, all right? You know what you need to know in order to be able to do this. Right? Custom products, anyone out there know that better than you? No. Okay? So just focus on getting better at them. And that you can do. Right? That being the relationship with the client, you know the client relationships. Step into it. Okay? Being the advisor, you know how to give advice. Let go of some of the fear and don't be afraid to say, yes, I think you should do that. No, I think you shouldn't do that. So, we don't innovate because it's really hard. Look at Sony, look at Nokia. They made smartphones, and if you talk to them, they made great smartphones, but they don't make them anymore. Right? So innovation is really hard. It is full of risk. You aren't risk people. Okay? It is incredibly expensive. And you guys aren't stupid. So stick to what you're good at. The good news is that it leaves us right where we want to be. It's irreplaceable specialists doing very high value work. Ladies and gentlemen, the pie, it is not a fight right now about a small pie. This pie is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And having a slice of that big pie is going to leave you exactly where you want to be, doing the interesting work and being very well paid for it. The future is bright. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Nick. Social distancing. Nicholas.
Social distancing, indeed. We've got, that's good, 3 meters.
Thank you very much. I have a couple questions.
Bring it.
First, you said, let go things you're not good enough. Based on your experience, what is the major area lawyers are definitely good enough, except control and fear?
So not good enough or are good enough, sorry.
Not good enough, because you said let go things that you are not good enough.
Sure, sure. So there is this fight going on about access. You know, they say, oh, you know, they shouldn't be allowed to do this, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. I say focus, you know, you can do two things. There's only 24 hours in a day. If you're focused on fighting, and looking, that's negative. Focus on what you're good at, focus on solving your customers' needs, and they'll stay with you. It's what they want.
In general, are lawyers good in innovation field?
No.
These ones in the audience definitely are.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
I would say no.
No.
No, because they are very conservative. Once it's explained the right way, sure. But I think what we need to definitely would help is engaging in a tighter dialogue. I've got a lovely company I work with up in Stockholm and in Copenhagen. They're based in both countries. They had a client. This client had digital privacy, had an issue with digital privacy agreements. They said, this is the most boring thing we do, and all the agreements are almost identical, and so we're not very good at it. You know, it's really, really hard to see the difference. And so this company said, cool, we'll make an AI tool that can analyze the difference. Now this was the company is called Husqvarna. They make chainsaws and motorcycles, so it's not a very digital company. The thing that impressed me was that they entered into an interesting dialogue. And so they said, and what they developed, they said, you know, okay, the law firm asked, so the people developing this tool asked them, it's a hybrid law firm, so it's an exception, there's always an exception. They said, all right, how do you receive these agreements? We receive them in Outlook, all right? And they come as an attachment to an email. Yes, forward that email to me, boom. So we will send you an email back with a PDF attachment saying up or down and what might be right or wrong with this document. So, once you get out from behind your desk and you go out and you talk to people, in that dialogue, you can come with a lot of good solutions. And so the lawyers didn't have to actually use new tools. They could stay with Microsoft Word on one screen, Outlook on another screen, SharePoint. Didn't have to do anything crazy, but were working together with an outside provider in their workflow, integrating it, and doing in 3 seconds what was taking them hours.
And one more question. In the online video interview, you said quite positively that failure is an amazing way how to learn. Could you inspire us with some failure that, from your point of view, is really inspirational in the field of law? And please try not to mention our partners.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely. I'll leave your partners out of it. Okay. All right. So if you go back to the army, I can remember I had, we used to do these really big exercises. And we had this one job, we had this one mission we were planning where our job was to stop an attack. And we did it over and over and over again, and every single time we'd lose. And but as we were doing it, we saw how the enemy, and then we analyzed their process of, we have a tendency to focus on what we do as opposed to what the other person does and how the other person works. And so what we did was we turned the map. This is a really incredibly simple thing. We turned a paper map 180 degrees. And we saw how the enemy was coming at us, and all of a sudden the pieces fell into place. And so for you, we tend to focus on being really efficient at what we do. All right, turn it 180 degrees. Imagine that you are walking into the law firm as a customer. My, that's some expensive furniture. I wonder who paid for that. But you walk into the law firm and you look at the product that you're receiving. You look at the problem you bring. Look at it from the customer's point of view. Over and over and over again, I've seen this. Look at it from the customer's point of view. It seems so obvious, and yet, when you actually walk out of the building, you take a step back. Sometimes it's important to do this physically. It's why I always recommend general counsels. My friend in Stockholm, this is her mantra. She says, get out from behind your desk. Go out and sit with the people you're supporting. And then you see things like, oh, wow, these guys have been working on this contract for 2 weeks. They've got this deal, and now they have to wait 2 weeks for me to review it? I can see their frustration. Okay, so turn the tables 180 degrees, look at your products and services from your customer's point of view, and be brutally honest when you do so.
Well, brutally honest with lawyers, that's difficult. But that reminds me, 1 week ago we had a really interesting debate with junior lawyers, whether we should call customers or clients, the people we are working with. You said customers.
I did. I kept on saying that. I apologize. It's what the rest of the world calls them. But
okay, let's
all right.
change it. Perfect. Nicholas,
cool.
Thank you very much. Nicholas Hawtin.
Thank you.